Welcome to Brain Secrets in the Age of the Brain. I so enjoy sharing informational bits about the human brain that the science of brain function has uncovered. I love to call them brain secrets. One of them involves expectations. Your stress level during holidays impact how you enjoy them and whether you are healthy and well when they're over. Expectations, your own or those of others, impact your stress level. Plan ahead to keep your expectations realistic. Avoid trying to compete with anyone else's traditions. Stop trying to do whatever you choose all alone. If you want to invite the extended family for a holiday meal, plan a menu that allows you to make holiday dishes ahead of time and freeze them. Or alternatively, ask family members and friends to each bring part of the menu. When you manage your expectations and avoid picking up the expectations of others, you will likely stay happier, healthier, and less stressed. That can rub off on others, so your family can better enjoy the holidays as well. Today we bring you part 2 of the holiday episodes for 2022. Asia Hudson, assistant producer of Brain Secrets, Ask Dr. Taylor, and videographer Grant Gilmore pulled off a new idea beautifully. Once again, welcome to this side of the camera, Asia.
Thank you for having me as always.
Oh, I will never get tired of doing this with you. Mm-hmm. And this is the second episode.
Yep.
For our holiday grouping of 3 programs for 2022. Mm-hmm. And we're continuing in this building, going around talking to people that I work with.
Yes.
And they've had a lot of fun. I don't know if they've had as much fun as you and I and Grant have had, but I think they had a lot of fun.
I'm happy they had fun, and especially because we incorporated the stocking full of, I don't know if they're goodies, but they're treats.
Well, they're treats, and it is a holiday, but
Yeah.
It made me laugh when I thought about it, because one of the foods that, you really don't want to eat too much of are high sugar goodies. But we do make exceptions on holidays.
Okay, yeah.
All right, you ready to do this?
Absolutely.
Grant, how are we doing?
Laptop is all set up and ready to go.
I tell you, if I ever told you how much I appreciate you and the team, you are just on the money all the time.
Thank you so much.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. You? Great.
So we're doing a segment for Ask Dr. Taylor. Then I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
If you could ask a brain function specialist a question about brain function, what would you ask her?
I would ask her if she could diagnose mental illnesses or mental health disorders through brain scans.
My name is Key. I'm the social media manager here.
Right on, Key. And if you could ask a question to our brain function specialist, what would you ask her?
I wanted to know if there is other ways of diagnosing mental illness, because we usually talk about our experience to our psychologist or therapist, but we don't really take our blood or anything, like other types of illness. So, yeah.
These sound similar, but they're actually 2 different questions. 1, can you diagnose mental illnesses, mental health disorders through brain scans? And the answer is, in some cases, yes. Some types of mental disorders can be identified through single photon emission computed tomography, or SPECT scans. So much easier to say. Brain scans may pick up brain tumors as well as some types of traumatic brain injuries or TBI. Computerized tomography or CT scans may identify brain bleeding or stroke damage. Magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, or a cerebral angiogram may pick up aneurysms. Some mental disorders are related to neurotransmitter imbalances, however, and those are as yet exceedingly difficult, if not impossible, to see through brain scans. Many mental illnesses and disorders are diagnosed through identifying a set of behaviors that have become linked with each, and several medications are available to help moderate symptoms. Watch for news about other types of brain imaging equipment being developed. And the second question, there are blood tests that can help to diagnose some disorders, such as bipolar and depression. In addition, studies of DNA and RNA markers and chromosome patterns can help identify some mental illnesses. Extensive research has identified typical behaviors that link to many mental disorders and mental illnesses. Sometimes identifying patterns can help to pinpoint a probable diagnosis. Physicians use available diagnostic modalities to assist in making as accurate a diagnosis as possible so that appropriate available treatments can be used. However, it's critically important to discuss things with a psychiatrist or psychologist, since not all brains exhibit a mental disorder or illness in the same way. In the end, it still requires careful medical judgment.
Okay, we're continuing our trek through Coworker Nation. And here we go. Hi! What is your name? I don't think we've ever met.
I'm Clarissa.
Hi, Clarissa. Nice to meet you. We're doing a segment today. And if you could ask a brain function specialist a question about brain function, what would you ask her?
I would ask if I know the brain fully starts developing around age 25. I was wondering how that affects your ability to learn after that.
Great question. Right on. And then here's some candy. Can't forget about the candy.
There is not one set age at which every brain is considered developed, much less matured. The corpus callosum, the largest of several bridges that connect the two cerebral hemispheres, is myelinated or wrapped in insulation around age 20 or 21. Many other brain structures are believed to be developed around age 25. The development of the prefrontal cortex, however, the hub of critical thinking and decision-making, may not be completed until late 20s or even early 30s. Well before then, however, many individuals made life-impactful choices that damaged the brain so that it never developed or matured properly, and which changed the trajectory of their entire life. Learning new things can grow neural connections throughout the brain over an entire lifetime. Therefore, maturing actually may be a lifelong process.
Chris! Hi! The question is, if you could ask a brain function specialist any question about the brain, what would you ask her?
Ooh, that's a good one. How long does the brain stay active when somebody passes away?
Ooh, that is a really good question. In the running for antlers, and honestly, I told everybody I was going to give them antlers at the end, but now I will bestow upon you your antlers in this moment. Yes, there we go.
Very
and
good.
You get candy. There you
Hey,
go.
let's go. Hey, Christmas came early.
A study involving one patient was published February 22nd of 2022 in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience. Neuroscientists recorded 900 seconds of brain activity around the time of death, focusing on the 30 seconds before and the 30 seconds after the heart stopped beating. They found that brainwave patterns resembled those that occur during dreaming, memory recall, and meditation. Neurosurgeon Jamal Zemar, who led the study at the University of Louisville, U.S., speculated that the brain may be replaying some of the nicest moments the person experienced in life. At least in this case, some brainwave patterns continued briefly after the heart had stopped beating.
If you could ask a brain function specialist a question about brain function, what would you ask her?
Is there any certain activities for the brain as you start getting older and losing memory? So is there any activities that you can do to help?
Dementias are not, repeat, not part of the normal aging process. Research has identified activities that can slow down memory loss, and the sooner you start them, the better. For example, those who learned to play a musical instrument and kept playing it during retirement do better. Get 7 or 8 hours of sleep each night. Do physical activities and get 30 minutes of stimulating mental exercise each day. Like, part of that can be reading aloud for 10 minutes a day. Think and speak positively. Get help for depression that lasts longer than 2 weeks. Stay well hydrated by drinking plenty of water. Eat healthier foods. You may need some vitamin B12, so get a checkup. Avoid or minimize brain toxins such as sugar and alcohol. Use memory tools, calendars, and lists. Always put your wallet or purse, keys, phone, and glasses in the same place. Volunteer. Spend quality time with close friends and family. You may want to access the National Institute on Aging website for a lot more tips.
So, Jessica, if you could ask a brain function specialist a question about brain function, what would you ask her?
I would ask her, why do people get so anxious and depressed during the holidays when it's a time of, family and it's supposed to be fun?
That is an amazing question.
Holidays are meant to be a time for family, close friends, and fun. A break in routines. Enter expectations, your own as well as those of others. Those who live on social media and compare themselves to what others say they are doing can end up in a world of hurt. They may be prompted to engage in activities they never expected, spend more money than planned, give too many presents, have too many parties, and agonize over too many fancy decorations and huge spreads of food. Anxiety is part of the emotion of fear, perhaps from feeling not being good enough. Depression is part of the emotion of sadness, perhaps from a sense of failing to meet expectations. Slow down. Relax with your family and close friends. Breathe. Negotiate using reality checks. Stop competing, overspending, and overeating. Just have fun and be refreshed. Well, I had fun. I always have fun, but I really have had fun watching and listening to some of the coworkers as they asked you questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you have a favorite.
Yes, absolutely. My favorite question was Chris's question, where he said, I don't like verbatim, but basically, how long is your brain activity activated? until you pass away. So like, what is the time differential between death and brain actually being off? And I think that's a really interesting question.
And we don't have a definitive answer in research. That was one person, the first time that I have seen anywhere in writing the study of starting tracking by seconds. What's the brain activity doing?
Right.
And it did continue after the heart stopped beating for a certain amount of time, and I don't remember the exact number of seconds.
Wow.
But I think that's just pretty fascinating.
That definitely is very interesting.
And the other thing that I laughed about, here we're talking about holidays and a lot of sugar, and then we get a question about what do you avoid to do really good brain function, and here you are passing candy out.
Yeah. I was like, the irony. What foods should we avoid if we want to be healthy? Candy. You want some candy? Like, speaking of candy, would you like some?
Well, but that points out that a healthy lifestyle is not about deprivation. It's about management and moderation. So yes, I do eat some sugar. I do not eat a lot, but I do eat some. And the research is this: your taste buds begin to fall off in flavor intensity after the second bite. And then you are simply eating from memory. And people can eat from memory for a long time at a meal, especially when it's really something they like and it's sweet and they're just wolfing it down. So when I want to have something that I've always really enjoyed, like New York cheesecake, I'm only going to eat 2 bites.
And then what happens to the rest of the cheesecake?
Well, I usually never get it unless I'm out eating with somebody and I ask them to let me carve off 2 bites and they can have the rest.
I was like, give it to me, I'll eat it.
But the trick is, you know that the intensity falls off after 2 bites. So I take a little bite and I chew it slowly and I tell my brain, you know, we're really enjoying this. And I eat my second bite. And sometimes I divide the second bite into 2, so they have 3 bites. But I don't crave it after that. You know, I have rewarded my brain with something that it likes with a little bit of it and enjoyed it. But I don't have to eat half a cheesecake. And I have seen people do that.
I'm one of those people, Arlene, I'm not gonna lie. I love milkshakes and cake and cupcakes and beignets and ice cream, and I don't just do 2 bites. If I'm gonna order it, I'm gonna eat it.
Well, I think that probably you and I grew up eating very differently. But that doesn't mean if you decide at some point that you're eating too much sugar that you can absolutely cut it down, because I don't want to eat from memory, I want to eat from taste.
I'll adopt that. I'll try to.
All right. Until next time. So much fun working with you. Thank you. And thank you, our viewers, for watching. Until the next episode of Brain Secrets Ask Dr. Taylor, remember to avoid buying into the expectations of others. Keep your expectations realistically, so that along with friends and family, you are happier and healthier at the end of the holiday. Happier and healthier than when you began the season. Expectations impact stress levels. That's a brain secret.